Hi friends, Richard here, and welcome to another one of our exploration series. Pour yourself a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, as we explore what could be a life-changing topic for you. Finding your purpose and living a fulfilled life. Now, before we get into the topic, though, please consider subscribing to this channel and leave a comment or two below. Your comments are always appreciated, and they help me prepare for future explorations. Now, let's talk about finding your purpose in life. You know, I think finding one's purpose is a pretty important topic for our personal growth and development. I'm finding many people are reevaluating their life these days as they cope with and come out of our COVID experiences of the past couple of years. You know, coming to grips with our purpose can be a life-changing decision as we travel on the road of going beyond the ordinary in business, work, and life. The question of purpose comes to everyone's mind at some point in their lives. We want to know the reasons or reasons why we exist in the first place. We're not, though, the first to think about purpose, nor will we be the last. You know, for thousands of years, people of all persuasions have wondered about their purpose and the meaning of their lives. The truth is, each of us has a purpose. All we have to do is find it. And, you know, we really don't need to do anything extraordinary to do just that. In this exploration, I'll talk about a few proven steps that are simple, yet show the way for discovering a sense of purpose. But before we get into that, let's talk a little about one of the situations I believe is happening today. One of the things I'm finding is that too many people are falling into the category of what can be called a state of meaninglessness. A sense that nothing matters in life. However, if nothing matters, we really don't need to care for others, and we can actually do no wrong. We can just avoid taking any kind of responsibility and accountability for our actions. Now, this is a tempting philosophy that frees us from worry about making critical decisions in life. But, and this is a big but, if there is no reason to be here, why be here at all? The truth is, as we journey through life, we search for meaning and all of what that implies. And in the process, we find our own purpose. It's a more difficult path to follow because we can't settle in on any old purpose or someone else's purpose. We need to find our own. So let's take a deeper dive into how we can form our own purpose. The truth is that deep down, we uncover our own meaning and our own purpose in life. Really, this is a much harder path to follow because we can't settle on just any purpose. We need to find the one that drives us so that we can greet the day with vigor and excitement. So, how do we go about doing that? Well, here are 8 ways that I think can help us. Now, in just a minute, I have to take a sip of water, or hot water and honey, because my throat seems to be drying up on me. The first way is light your imagination with reading and a bit of research. Reading and conducting a bit of research can really help us find our purpose. One significant benefit of doing this is that it draws us to the feelings and the struggles and minds of people who had a similar purpose as ours, and in the end became quite successful. This shapes and influences how we can approach our purpose. In many ways, reading drives our imagination, and then our imagination leads or can lead to our sense of purpose. For instance, the African-American activist Martin Luther King was influenced by the works of the renowned historian W.E.B. Du Bois, which led to his call for black liberation and a sense of identity. And you know, contrary to public thinking, inventions are not always unique. They are usually built on something that came before them. While an individual may be credited for a stroke of genius, these moments never occur in a vacuum or come from out of the blue. Take example, the computer. Now, the computer I'm using to prepare for this exploration presentation used to be commanded by line-driven code, meaning I would have to know all the inputs to type into a keyboard so that I can tell my computer what I wanted it to do. Now, many people credit Microsoft Windows with introducing the world's first graphical user interface, or GUI. Now, where that means is where you can use a mouse to click onto the screen to tell the computer what to do, making the process much easier to use and certainly more user-friendly. But the graphical user interface development occurred much earlier. It was first pioneered by Douglas Engelbart, who showed an operating system with a pointing device called the mouse in the early 1960s. Now, this idea was taken up by Xerox, which released the Alto computer, the first computer that was connected to a mouse. And as the story goes, Apple's Steve Jobs saw the Alto while visiting Xerox PARC Research Center, which inspired him to make the Macintosh with a GUI. And this was the first mass-market computers with a mouse. This then moved the dial forward, and the more business-focused Microsoft took the idea to the mainstream. And that's why, in many ways, Microsoft, people think that Microsoft was the one who used the mouse first. Another example is how internet marketers build on others' ideas. They develop ebooks and apps using the concepts found in PLR ebooks and other developers' apps. It is seldom you'll find a completely new ebook or app. They are most often tweaked and reworked from someone else's idea. Looks for. I got to take another sip of honeyed water. Sorry about that. Sounds like my voice is really cracking today. You know, other times are... sorry for that short break. Other times, our imagination is spurred by something we see as a need. For instance, Mother Teresa was moved by the difficult situation East Indians faced as they were discriminated against by the general population. Her imagination was filled with a vision about making a better life for them. I think it's important to point out here that our imagination is often inspired by a power beyond us, a power that moves us in a different direction. And some people would say that that's really what imagination is all about, something really coming out from a source that is not really our own, but from something other. And sometimes we experience this deep yearning within us that pushes us to greater things, to do greater things for others. And this often is described as a spiritual moment, where it comes very clear to someone that he or she has a calling to do more. And when this happens, they work at discerning and clarifying their purpose, often with the help of someone else or a group of people. And I believe this is really what happened to Mother Teresa. So, if you're searching for purpose, try reading some good books and look to those that live a purposeful life. The image you conjure up in your own self, in your own imagination, and your own thinking will influence you to strive for a better life with a strong sense of purpose. Secondly, consider those around you. Now, people should be our primary concern when finding our purpose. Ayala Pines, an Israeli psychologist, argues that we all have a similar purpose. According to Pines, we are created to assist our neighbor, improve our surroundings, and protect nature, and generally make the world a better place than we found it. Pines' positions suggest that all purposes are drawn towards protecting humans and animals and trees and our planet. Here I think of St. Francis of Assisi, who dedicated his life hundreds of years before Pines did entered the world. And Francis of Assisi really drove people to uplifting everyone and everything that resides in our natural environment and in our universe. Now, Anthony Greenwell's furthered Pine's claim when he advised that everyone's purpose is guided by the activities faced by them or those around them. Now, let's look at a couple of examples that I think explains Greenwell's position. I know several successful business people who grew up in poverty and were surrounded by negative people. And they promised themselves that they would do everything in their power to dig themselves out of poverty. They sought role models and mentors to help them, and through their own dogged tenacity and determination, they were able to develop successful businesses. As their business grew, they were able to provide employment for others who were in similar situations as their own as when they grew up. And as well, helping other people with employment, they were able to support their own families and avoid a life of poverty. And then there was Bill. Now, while in prison, he saw his fellow inmates commit to living a life without crime. But upon release, they found themselves back with the same crowd, and subsequently, they became victims to a continuing cycle of crime and prison time. Well, Bill decided that he would do whatever it took to help his fellow inmates upon release from his prison, and upon release of their time in jail. So he started a group for released prisoners, which helped them reintegrate back into the community and avoid the cycle of crime in jail. So whether you're like the business people whose purpose was influenced by poverty, or Bill, who was influenced by the experience of his inmate friends and his own experience, one thing is common between the two stories. Their purpose was channeled to helping others and not just themselves. Now, thirdly, look to those who surround you. When seeking our purpose, or a sense of purpose, it helps to know what people like about us. This includes our skills, passions, things we are good at, and anything else that might be useful in determining what is meaningful and strongly connected to us. Finding what people love about us and can indirectly channel us to finding our purpose in life. Beverly Furr puts it perfectly when he said, "Giving thanks contributes to finding your purpose. But you could find purpose in what people are thanking you for." I read a story the other day about David Worsley, who worked as a teacher in a school where there were many dropouts. Now, David took time at every opportunity to advise the class on the benefit of education to society. But David felt he was wasting his time. He was opening to interviewing for any job that could take him away from what he considered depressing. It sounded like David was caught in that syndrome I mentioned earlier, getting out of bed to a day he hated. Several years later, Dave received a phone call from one of his students to attend a reunion party as a guest speaker. Now, reluctantly, David went to the event with pretty low expectations. But to his amazement, the classes he had taught for 9 years were well represented, and all of the students at the reunion had graduated from college. Now, the former students, numbering over 100, thanked David for his uniqueness and his inspiration. They also set a fund to create a school in the neighborhood named after him. It took this event for David to finally realize that his purpose was to be a teacher. So, finding what people love about us can indirectly channel us to finding our purpose in life. The fourth way is to build your own community and tell your story. When you're searching for your purpose, gravitate towards those who do or have done what it is that you want to do. Band together with people who have similar purpose as yours. You see, a purposeful community will inspire you to do more, and to spur you on to achieve your purpose more quickly. For instance, if you have a picture in your mind of protecting children, it would be advisable to be among a community of people who help children. If you yearn to create a business to provide tech services for a better future, you should be around people who are in that business. And find a local business association that specializes in that field. But these days, we really don't need to build our community in person. In other words, face to face. We can do that virtually. We can use various social media platforms to form a sense of community. We can use them for our own inspiration, and we can join a group led by people who are leaders in the field that you're interested in, or start your own private Facebook group. Or you can identify with people who would like to subscribe to your YouTube channel, and then follow them. And boy, that's a segue for me. Why don't you subscribe to this channel below and receive more talks on personal development and growth? Now, once you're at a point where you're beginning to form a picture in your mind of your own purpose, write it down. You may have to make several stabs at it, but writing it down, you'll begin to crystallize your thinking. And a good exercise is to keep a journal. Keep a journal of your thoughts and progress, and write your story in detail as to how you developed your purpose, the achievements and difficulties along the way that you experienced, and how you are continuing to fulfill it. This is a personal exercise, but businesses do this all the time when they write out their own business plan. I know that's one of the drivers that I have done for years and continue to do. Fifthly, turn your challenges into opportunities. Now, many people go through life confused about their purpose. I found this to be particularly true for people locked into jobs that they didn't like, or when they had lost their job and found they were bamboozled as to what to do next, or when they reached certain stages in their lives and began thinking about what they have accomplished and what they should be doing next. Now, if you're in this situation or something similar, think back to a difficult situation you were in and concentrate on the feelings you had that brought you to a sense of satisfaction and even enjoyment after completing it. That experience could be telling you something about your purpose or the next thing that you should be doing from a purpose perspective. So, when was the last time you tackled something difficult and felt satisfied after completing it? Do you remember how good you felt after that? When you zero in on what you're good at, while at the same time enjoying it, you'll get a lot closer to finding or refocusing your purpose. The sixth point is to clarify your passion. Now, consider what you really care about. What is it that inspires you? What are you really passionate about? What is something that you can do every day with enjoyment? The answer to these questions can help you find your purpose in life. And 7, don't be afraid to sacrifice. Something worthwhile is worth making a sacrifice for. So, what is it that you will sacrifice for? What is it that will give you your time and money and pain and energy? What is it that will give those things that will help you spur you on? And in the end, our lives contain a great amount of suffering, and this is often expressed through sacrifice. Your purpose is what gives that suffering, that time and energy and pain that you experience. Your purpose gives that meaning. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of the sacrifice that you need to make. Use it to find your purpose. And extend yourself to others. So, when was the last time you felt like you made a difference in someone's life? Were you being there for a friend? Did you help out your colleagues, a member of your family? Maybe simply you were nice to someone and they thanked you for it. You know, these simple tasks are clues to how you might best help others. The best purposes are ones that enable us to do the most good for others and our communities. A common refrain from people with purpose is that they feel that they are most fulfilled when they are out there making a difference in the lives of others. In the article in Huffington Post, Shannon Kaiser wrote, "Many of us," and I quote, "many of us struggle because we try to find that one thing that we are meant to do. But trying to find only one thing is the reason why we feel like something is missing. The notion that we have only one thing we are meant for limits us from fulfilling our greatness. Now take, for example, I have 6 different job titles. I'm a life coach, a traveler, a writer, author, speaker, teacher, mentor, designer, and each thing I do brings me joy, but none of these are my purpose. They are my passions." End of quote. Now this gives a wonderful example to follow. Once you get out there and start doing things, you may find that many of them are rewarding, and you can embrace them under one heading. For example, I think Shannon's job titles all fall under the umbrella of helping people. My own life's journey is similar to Shannon's. I coach business people, I'm an author, a blogger, a product developer, a presenter, and have several websites through which I can offer my services. However, they all fall under the same heading or the same moniker of helping others become the best versions of themselves through growth and development in business, work, and life. So the final question now is to ask yourself, how do I help others? So what can we conclude from all of this? Well, finding purpose is filled with both inspiration and detours. In fact, your sense of purpose may not be that clear to you. If you find yourself in this predicament, follow the 4 steps outlined in this presentation. The first step is to clarify the things people thank you for. Secondly, read and study how others arrived at their purpose, as they can boost your knowledge and imagination. Thirdly, build your community. Some people like to call this their tribe, as well as tell your story. And finally, and possibly the most important, identify your passions and base your purpose off of that. And remember, the greatest satisfaction you will experience is to help others. Howard Thurman once said, "Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you become alive, and then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." Now, if you want to learn more about this topic, I invite you to join Fortis membership at thefontenay.com. There you'll find ebooks and videos, workbooks, training programs, and much more pertaining to the dimensions of personal growth and development. Just click the link below and it'll get you there. In the meantime, keep well, stay safe, and take the time to grow and develop. so that you can become the best version of yourself. And in the end, you'll go beyond the ordinary in business, work, and life. Talk to you again soon. Bye for now. Oh, and don't forget, subscribe to this channel and give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate you for doing that. Bye for now. Talk to you again soon.